Well, greetings, YouTube. LMS Tactical here. I hope you guys are doing well. Happy Monday to you. This is just a little Monday ramble. I'm going to cover all kinds of things with absolutely no organization, so hold on tight or change channels. With all this shit going on, man, I mean, it's very hard to focus, and I'm trying to speak for the way I think a lot of us are thinking these days. I mean, just sometimes it helps to try to organize and at least identify the chaos that's taking place and do our best to try to identify the causes, even though it might be futile in terms of solving the problem. And in our case, the United States, you know, there's a lot going on. I mean, there are people that are preparing for the end of the world on November 4th or some mass, you know, national rioting, which may or may not happen. I don't know. You know, I hear there's uniformed cops sitting in police cars that make YouTube videos talking about intel and who are firmly convinced that this is going to happen. It's going to start out with, you know, an Antifa-driven, George Soros-funded all-out attack on cops, and then once they're all tied up with, you know, defending themselves and policing up bodies, so to speak, that it'll turn against us, the citizens, you know, turn on each other, maybe a race war or whatever. And if you haven't watched any of these videos, you got to check them out. There's a lot of different takes on it. Do I think it's going to happen? I don't really know. Am I going to do anything to prepare for it? No, because I'm already as prepared as I need to be. And that's, if you take away anything at all from this video, it should be that. I mean, we've talked through the years about preparation for, we were preparing for, you know, the likely event that Hillary was elected. And, you know, what that would have, I mean, I'm fully convinced that had she won the White House, we'd already be in the middle of a full-blown kinetic civil war. Who knows? You know, but you got this, it's just overwhelming so that it's almost impossible when you wake up in the morning to figure out what to focus on. You know, don't think that I haven't, you know, that I've let the Vegas massacre go by the wayside. You know, I try to stay on top of these things like I'm sure you do, but it gets to the point where, you know, what is going on? Why is it going on? How is this happening? And where the fuck is it going? Man, if you were going to, I guess if you had to drill down and figure out what is going on, we can simplify it without, you know, take away all the emotions and all the opinions and boil it down to a reality, which is there is a war already taking place. Not to sound ultra dramatic, but we are already at war here in this country. You know, forget all the terrorism, forget everything for the purpose of this conversation. We're at war with ourselves. We are at a crossroads in our life, in our time in history anyways, where we are determining as a country what type of people we're going to be. And to a large extent, humanity is in the same situation where people from different countries are making decisions, you know. Governments are falling and types of, hope this air conditioner is not too loud on you. You know, the types of government that people are willing to have or that they elect to have or whatever. You know, things are changing all around the world, but to, you know, focus on America. I mean, holy shit, you've got flag burners, you know, football, NFL people kneeling, you know, transvestites going into the women's and men's bathroom, depending on what mood they're in. Girl Scouts are now Boy Scouts. Boy Scouts are Girl Scouts. You got gay boys in the Girl Scouts that want to be Girl Scouts. But, I mean, you can't. So how did we get here? First of all, if we back up the tape of our life, and if you ask most people, sadly enough, you probably wouldn't get much of an answer, because one of the effects of us being so fucked up as a society is that today's young people don't know jack shit about what happened just a couple of years ago in the grand scheme of things. You know, we've all seen, hopefully, some of the interviews done by Jesse Waters, to name, you know, one person, who goes out to these Ivy League colleges, man. I mean, we're talking, you know, Harvard and Yale and student, you know, sophomores in these Ivy League colleges. They don't have, you ask them who fought during World War II. And they don't have a clue who the fucking, what the Allies in the Axis were. You know, they'll say things like Vietnam and Korea against, you know, whatever. I mean, that's just, you know, it's some people giggle at that, but it breaks my fucking heart, and it scares the shit out of me because, you know, we're always just a generation away from total destruction. And, you know, if we've got a whole generation now coming up that doesn't even know anything about history, and then we've got the existing generation trying to rewrite history and tear down statues and erase history, and, you know, it's not going to be, that's an easy group to manipulate. And by boiling up all this hatred for America with these young people, you know, and I hate to keep bagging on the millennials, I own a few, but, you know, really, it's their ball game after we're gone. And you got to ask yourself, who the fuck is going to fight or protect this country militarily when you got a bunch of people that hate this fucking country? They're being taught to hate it from the earliest school years on. That we're just so fucked up, we're not worth a shit. Who the fuck is going to volunteer to... Where are the millennials going to get their military from? And if you asked them, a bunch would probably pop up and say, well, in our perfect world, we wouldn't need a military. Well, that's great for you. But what about the next door neighbor or the guys across the ocean that don't think your way? And, you know, I mean, you can act like you're Buddhist monks all you want, but when a bunch of fuckers come into the temple with AK-47s, I guess your monk years are over. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so how did it all start? It started, my buddy and I were just talking about this. Hey, Mike, this is nothing that just started this year. It didn't start with Obama or Bill Clinton. It didn't start with George Bush or anybody in the recent history. This started way back in the, at a bare minimum, this started in the 50s and early 50s. And when we want to identify an enemy to our way of life, let's say, you know, the greatest generation's way of life, because I can't speak for everybody anymore, but I'm a patriot. I like America, apple pie, and, you know, the flag, and, you know, I look at the flag and I still get teary-eyed. Oh, it's just a piece of cloth. I know, but I look at what it represents, and you guys get me. So it boils down to communism, people. That's what it comes down to. And communism may not be the end game, but it is pretty fucking close to the end game. Because, of course, there are powers within the powers, and there's the secret Rothschilds. And, you know, I'm not a conspiracy guy, but there is truth to all of this shit. I mean, you know, Neotech, the Neotech Society, the Rothschilds, the fucking... you know, on and on and on. And then people will say, what about the Masons and the Knights Templars? And, you know, there are groups within groups, I'm sure. I don't have any evidence of that. I'm a Freemason. I'm a Knights Templar. I don't know anything about any world dominance and taking over shit. It hasn't helped me in that. I mean, I'm just as powerful as the next door neighbor. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, but am I naive enough to think that I know everything about everything just because I'm part of something? No, not at all. I don't even know who the fuck's running my country anymore. Are there secret organizations? Are there hidden deep state governments within governments that are more powerful than the president? Yeah, I fucking used to laugh at that, but I believe that's true now. How could I not? There's enough evidence. You know, speaking of which, I guess Trump's going to release these papers, you know, regarding the Kennedy assassination. Am I anticipating some big windfall of information about a guy on a grassy knoll? No, I'm just not. Now, hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully we can, you know, prove or whatever. You know, there's so many different theories. I think what will end up happening is we'll see that, you know, the government, I believe our own government fucking did that or was part of that. That's just my own belief. And I'm a guy that's, you know, worked for the government almost my whole adult life. I'm pro-government, at least I used to be. I don't know what the fuck I am anymore. I don't trust anybody anymore. That's how fucking sad things are. But so if you just look at it and boil things down, you know, into a simple group of subjects that we can understand, and understanding that there are a million offshoots, but just to get a grasp on what the fuck happened, if you look at communism as a goal, and it's often times you can't get to communism unless you go through socialism. Yeah, and that's what a lot of these people that claim to be socialists, they don't understand that they're being played like fucking pawns in chess to get the puppet masters to a state of communism. You can't have communism in a country that is run like ours or set up like ours. We have the Bill of Rights and the Constitution, and that fucks things up for those people that want to take it over. So you can't do it kinetically. These are decisions, I think, that were made back in the early 50s, that they couldn't just march, no, they being whoever the fuck they are, couldn't just march in here with their armies and take over America. Yamamoto, as he said, there's a gun behind every blade of grass in America. Young people don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but you should read a book. Okay, so there were meetings and people got together, and I base a lot of this on my own studies, and some of this I'm ad-libbing it, of course, to get it into a semi-long video. But trust me, and you can look all the stuff up yourself. Meetings took place in Europe, and the minds that were behind the initial planning of the destruction of the United States realized that they couldn't do it militarily, so they had to break it down. How can we take over a country like the United States? And this is all going to make sense in a second. Well, you have to do a couple of things. First of all, you have to take over their educational facilities. And can anybody argue that that hasn't been done? Our so-called educational professors and teachers are more liberal than most liberals. I mean, it's pathetic. So you take over their educational facilities, then you take over their press. So we got the education and the press controlled by liberals who love the concepts of socialism and the idea of things being free. So education, you take over the press, you take over the film industry. Can anybody argue that the film industry is not completely liberal? And then you start taking things that the society, that America holds in places of high respect and value, and you start demeaning them. You take things that are considered good and you flip them over, and you convince the people that are young, because they write off the older generation. Guys like us, we're already fucked up because we already have our guns and we believe in our gods and blah, 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 blah. So we're write-offs. But the young people, you convince them that everything that's good is bad, and vice versa. So what do? You turn against the flag. The flag, it represents nothing but hate and oppression. You take things that used to be considered perverted things, like guys going into little girls' bathrooms, and you make that seem okay. You take something as firm and as established as the Girl Scouts and the Boy Scouts, and you tear that apart, and you let the girls in the Boy Scouts and the boys in the Girl Scouts, and then you end up with everything all fucked up, and you just have the fuck Scouts. On and on and on. Religion becomes a fucking bad thing, right? Karl Marx, king of the fucking communists. What he said, a religion is the opiate of the people. Hey, I don't give a fuck if it is the opiate of the people. It helps kept people in line for a lot. If a society believes that if they go molest a girl, they're going to rot in hell for the eternity, then fucking hey, let's have some more opiate of the people, regardless of what your feelings of religion are. So he was anti-religion. Communism is anti-religion, and of course the left is anti-religion. They want Christians baking gay cakes and blah, 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 blah. But if you try to reverse any of this on them, then you're a fucking racist, homophobic, Islamophobic, whatever. Names, labels, 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 labels. So then you end up with, that's why Antifa, these little cocksuckers, it's such simple psychology. It's not even psychology. They think they're really deep and they're being really cute, but we'll come in and we'll call ourselves anti-fascist, but we are actually, that's the banner we hold. We're fascists hiding under the banner of anti-fascism. What fucking, I didn't even finish high school. What second grade dropout couldn't figure this shit out? And these stupid fucking ignorant people that show up to these rallies and these demonstrations that are funded by George Soros, probably Hillary, and probably Obama in their little secret fuck Trump groups. These people that are out there with their fucking, they're burning the flags and beating the fuck out of anybody with a Trump hat on and demanding free speech as long as you don't say anything I don't agree with, or I'll burn your fucking college down and crack your head open. That's them. And they don't realize that they are just the fucking muscle, which is not really even muscle. The puppet masters need somebody to get agitated to go out and break windows and burn police cars and cause a ruckus so that the system starts to melt down and people lose faith in their government, and if you lose faith in their police, and they start to turn on each other, and they fucking are pushed into hating the guy next to them because he's black, and the fucking whites are all racist and they owe me something. Those people that are out there running around breaking windows, let's just pretend we fast forward and the conservatives all give up or are all killed and communism reigns free, Antifa wins. The people that fucking put them to work and paid them would have them slaughtered first because they're of no use. They're simple fucking, they're useful idiots. How do I fucking know that? Because it's happened in history over and over and over again. And any motherfucker that doesn't understand that has never turned a page in a righteous history book, which you need to do quick, because don't think that today they're tearing down fucking Civil War statues and getting rid of the fucking Cat in the Hat and what was the other one they just did? One Flew, or To Kill a Mockingbird. It's too racist. You know, today it's that. Tomorrow it's actual history books. Because it's probably not, it's already not being taught in school properly. And once history is gone, we're fucked. Because the young kids today, if their parents aren't teaching them real history, they're not going to know real history. Then they are just controlled zombies. Did I have a fucking point to this video? I don't know, man. I don't remember anymore. You got the fucking media. Look, here's a good example. How do we all pronounce Niger? Right? How haven't we always called it Niger? Right? And all of a sudden, I don't know, last week, or I think the last week, I started hearing somebody on MSNBC pronounced it Niger. And now even Fox and all these stupid fucking white people that are trying to impress everybody by how anti-whatever they are, they started just adopting it. Yes, well, we had some people killed in Niger. It's Niger, you cockbiters, and if it looks like fucking nigger, that ain't my fault. It's not pronounced that way. Look it up in the dictionary. It's Niger, you know? But they change shit. That's political correctness that is fucking up our world. It's fucking up our world, man. Are you guys prepared for what's coming? Are you? Because it's not even coming anymore. It's already fucking here. What do I mean by prepared? Have a fucking plan to get your family back together if should shit go sideways at any time during a 24-hour period. If you got kids in school or kids in college or people at work and spouses at work and dogs and cats and mice and birds, have a fucking plan and go over it with your fucking family. Okay? You gotta have a fucking plan. You gotta have food. You gotta have water. And you gotta have fucking protection. And if you don't have that shit, you're just gonna be one of the corpses bloating up in the middle of the fucking street if things get as bad as they possibly could get. I'm not running around thinking that's gonna happen, but if it happens right the fuck now, I'm not fucking stressing about it. I may look like I'm stressing. I'm stressing because I can't stand to see the death of our country. An FBI that lies to us about the fucking Vegas shit, unfucking believable. Unbelievable. So I don't fucking know what's coming or when it's coming. And I'm not looking forward to it. But I'm not going to be part of the fucking problem. I'm going to protect those people around me and my dog Charlie. And if anybody tries to fuck with me during times of crisis, then I'm going to have to be disposing of fucking things that are fucking decomposing. Because I will not be fucked over by anybody that is trying to fuck over this country. It ain't gonna happen. That's all. That's my happy Monday message. Maybe there was a point and I forgot it. I don't know. But you guys, let me know what you think about this. It's already gone on too long. But hope you guys are doing good. LMS Tactical, I'm out.